And like I said, it's time for Ace Combat 3. Oh, it's been a while since we've been here, but well, DISION, well, let's put it like, dying once was too good for DISION. So, you know what we're going to do? Oh shit, is my mic acting up, Dusk? Is my mic acting up? Let me play with that, actually. Let me check that. Thanks for letting me know about that, because I know that's been a thing. One moment, please. So it turns out this was a different problem, because guess what it turns out? I had the gain turned up too high, and it didn't like that. So I guess I had the gain turned up too high because I was in a call with Hazmat earlier today for his birthday anniversary stream. So I had turned the gain up on my end so that people could hear me, and I guess I forgot to turn it back down. No, this was actually not the original plan tonight, by the way. Just gonna get that out of the way right now. The original plan was actually a very different game, and there are some things I want to show y'all from that, because as much as, like I said, it kept crashing on launch, I do want to show this off because it is a very interesting game, and it is honestly a game best shown not as gameplay, because the best part of the game is not mechanical. It's not the actual gameplay itself. It is the beautiful monster design that until recently, that I only recently learned was done by Stan Winston's studio. I did know like a bit of trivia about the origins of their concepts and how what each of them is based off of. But I had no idea that they were specifically designed by Stan Winston's studio. That part actually surprised me. What am I looking for here in particular? I'm getting a couple of these because I want to show you these enemies. They're absolutely fantastic looking. Let's see. There's that one. There's that one. Oh yeah, because I want the concept art. The concept art really shows them off in their full beauty. Like the gameplay models are a bit scuffed because it is a game for the original Xbox. Yeah, that's another thing. The entry lore is fantastic. Let me see. I've got you. There are a couple enemies. I'm not gonna show off every enemy because there's a lot of them, but I do want to show off a couple of them just because they look so cool. Like the first one I want to show off is actually this real quickly. Hey there, Tetsu. It's going great now. It's going fine now. Things are significantly. Oh my god, this week is past few days. I won't get into detail just because it's personal, but these past few days have been scary and stressful. I think anyway. So for now, anyways. I'm just so glad that I've got got some breathing room. I can actually think about things a little bit of a big old wound up ball of neurosis. Not even neurosis isn't even the right word I'm looking for here, but just being scared. But let me show you a couple of these enemies first. I'm not going to show you all of them because there's a good few of them, but the big thing about the suffering that I want to think about is every enemy in this game is a representation of an execution method. They all represent different methods of execution, starting with the Slayers here, which you see here, which represent beheading. They represent. Okay, it's not acting out. I thought it was acting out for some reason. Okay, that's just the snapping. Just fine. I kind of like the snapping is useful. Some people might not like the snapping, but I find it useful because I particularly have trouble finding the edges of my scenes. So there's that. Yeah, dismemberment, beheading, that kind of business, which is why they all have got blades on them, but also pay special attention to their heads. And notice how their heads are not attached to the rest of their bodies. That's like the big thing that shows, like I said, they represent beheading. much more so than any other kind of dismemberment. And then the blades that they actually have in their arms and legs, I remember in the, I want to say the big slayers, not the regular slayers, but the big ones that are like the badass ones are actually blunt. They're not just like, blades that are stuck in there. They have blunt tips like an executioner's sword, which is a big deal because an executioner's sword will often have a flattened or blunted tip. And the reason for this is that it's never going to be used as a thrusting weapon. Instead, it's entirely meant to be used in that big swing to come down and separate the condemned's head from their body. So I think I remember the big slayers in the actual game model have, like I said, they have blunt tips on their blades that's sort of like representative of that. But anyway, so that's the Slayer. The Slayer is like really cool. The Slayer is kind of the first enemy you meet and represents, your first foray into metaphors for execution. However, things get more interesting from there because then you have the Marksman. The Marksman represents a firing squad. And as far as gameplay goes, they are horrible. They are awful, awful, awful. Because they're a damage sponge. And this is a big problem the game has as a whole. And I was reminded of this by Civi's video. He's talking about, because this is why I was reminded of the suffering. Is Civi made a video. I happened to see that Civi made a video on it, and that's the big thing. It's like, oh god, they're all damage sponges. This is probably not a game I would enjoy playing, but hey, it's cheap on GOG, so I figured I might as well get it. Yes, they do, Dusk. Yes, they do. That's actually the last one I want to talk about after I talk about these enemies. Last thing I want to talk about after I talk about these enemies, because there's actually some mechanics tied in with the monster mode that are quite interesting. Although they show up more in the sequel, Ties That Bind. Now, admittedly, I have never played Ties That Bind, so I'm not going to talk much about Ties That Bind, because I don't know the divergences there. But so, like I said, these guys represent a firing squad with, and notice how like they've got they're basically two bodies. One that has, is blindfolded, and it has and it's basically the carrier, the mule that carries around, and the other one has all the rifles. Like they're basically a turret stuck on the back of another guy, like two guys, one of which is a turret stuck on the back of the other one. And so this one is actually the one that provides all the targeting data. Like they're blind, they're totally blind. They're going entirely off of sound, which is something that the game actually does a great job of representing, because they will just blindly fire at sound sources sometimes. They don't even know what it is. They don't know what it is. No, a loud thing is over here. Start shooting. But so these guys, as you can figure it out by the look of it, by the rifles, the type of rifles that are there, they represent a firing squad. And in the story of the game, it turns out that Carnate Island, along with being a prison, was also at one point a military was also a military prison at one point. And one of the things that came out of that was there were plenty of executions by firing squad. Now, the final enemy I want to talk about is the most is the one that is like the most annoying, but also the really kind of the coolest looking one, and that's the mainliner. This is the enemy. This is the enemy that sold me on the suffering back when I played it on the original Xbox. This is the enemy that I saw it. I was like, I want to play. Yes, Lethal Injection. It is just such a distinctive looking enemy. There's nothing. I don't think there's been anything like the mainliner in another game. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's been anything like the mainliner in any game since the summer. Just this freaky, like mechanically it's very similar to shit, but the aesthetic of the mainliner, where it's in anguish. Every movement it makes is pained. It is suffering with every, it's suffering with every movement it makes. It's pumped full of a cocktail of drugs, to the point where if you're trying to fight it close up, its blood will poison you. And this is on top of the fact that it will try and grab you, pull one of the needles out of their back, and then stick you with it. Everything about this enemy is just nasty. Everything about the mainliner is nasty, horrible. They are a horrendous creature, but they are also a fascinating one, just because of their connection to, like you said, Lethal Injection does. The fact that, again, like I said, like every enemy in the suffering, they're all connected to the practice, punishment, and execution. Now, as for the monster form the player has, that, like I said, that ties into one of the more interesting but underdeveloped mechanics the Suffering has, that being its moral choice system. So the Suffering was released around that time period where games were starting to say that the player's choices would affect the story. That was like a big thing for a while. It's still a thing they see in some games, like for example in Code Vein, you have the karma system. Literally, the karma system. It had a very, very early version of the karma system where you would be faced with a lot of situations where there would be like there would be a prison guard or there'd be a guard or another prisoner or some other kind of civilian, and you would hear these two voices conflicting. One telling you help them out, the other one saying kill them. Or in the opposite case, when you're in Dr. Killjoy's asylum, there is a yes, it only affects the ending. It only affects the ending. So one of the big things about into the story real quickly. So the story, you are playing as this guy named Torque, and Torque is on death row for supposedly killing his wife and kid. And the big thing about like the choices you make in the game, if you make the good moral choice, good and evil moral choices, call them that. If you go along making the good moral choices, the implication is that at the end of the game, Torque is innocent. Torque didn't do it. But on the other hand, there are two bad endings. First bad ending is like if you make a couple of bad choices, perhaps you're thinking, I need that weapon right now and I can't wait. So you kill the guy to get it from him. It'll be that you're guilty, but you get off the island and forget something else happens after that. And then there's the bad ending where you make every bad choice. And in that one, when the Coast Guard comes to rescue after all the shit hit the fan, Torque goes and actually kills the Coast Guard, the guy in the Coast Guard boat, and instead of like taking the boat or anything, kills the guy in the Coast Guard boat, turns into the monster, and then runs back off onto Carnate Island to I don't know what, to be among his people, I guess. He is irreparable, he is irredeemable, and he will die, he will be trapped on Carnate forever because he is the monster that everyone thought he was. And so like those are the three endings. Like I said, it's a very primitive, very early, very basic moral choice system. And it got developed in later games, and it feels, and this is the big thing about it, because it's such an early version of the system, it's such an early version of this mechanic, it feels extremely stapled on. Oh, are there 4 like big moral checks? Okay, so because what I do know about Ties That Bind is that depending on what your karma level is, it does affect appearance, and I want to say the abilities of the monster form. I know that much about Ties That Bind. I have not yet tried Ties That Bind, and I bet it's going to be just like the first game and crash every time I try and launch it. I want to figure out what's going on with this. Why is it the reason it crashes every time I try and launch the game? I don't know what it is. I want to try and figure that out, because as much as these games are kind of mechanical and a bit basic, at least the first one, I don't know about Ties That Bind, but they're super fascinating. They're super fascinating because there's this little window into a specific era in video game history that is very interesting. But anyways, that's the Suffering. So that's the Suffering. That is a game, like I said, that I wanted to show off, but it didn't work. Yes, the Burrowers. I know the one, Susk. You're talking about the Burrowers, which are like a representation of being buried alive. I know the exact one you're talking about. Hold on a minute. I gotta turn some volumes down. There we go. That's better. Now I can actually hear myself thinking. Actually, maybe you can hear me talk. Turn this down as well a little bit, just so that works out. There we go. Make the game a bit quieter. And anyways, like I said, so now we're back in Ace Combat 3. And so previously, we had done the Newcom route. The Newcom route, which led to Soul Survivor. And hello, Yamiko Heba. How are you doing tonight? What are these cat faces? Oh my god, that is adorable. That is adorable. I love it. I love it. Oh, it's just so cute. Look at them. Look at the little fella. He's got little sparkly eyes. Oh, they're super cute. They're super cute, Yamiko. I love them. I love them so much. But anyways, like I was saying, we have done Soul Survivor, which is the end of the Newcom route. So next is the General Resource route, which begins with welcoming committee. And welcoming committee leads us into... Also, I went and got the Bernie area. Oh no, the Bernie area. I know the one you're talking about, Dusk, where it's the burning city, right? And every once in a while you'll find like a... Regarding the recent act of terrorism by the airship that appeared over Axel Bay, a letter taking responsibility, allegedly coming from an extremist cell of Global Way, is said to likely be false after further investigations. From announcements from Global Way spokesmen and even investigative reports made by local police and General Resource and Newcom, the existence of a radical faction within Global Way has not come to light. Because of this, the notion that the attack was made by an unknown terrorist group is gaining credence, and the difficulty in resolving the incident is compounding. But anyways, I was saying, so yeah, no, the burning area. How many of the fire doors have you run into, Dusk? Because those I remember being one of the worst parts of that area. Oh, frog. There's a frog. There's a frog. Basically, so I call them fire doors. Basically, it's these areas where it'll be like an archway or a gate, and it'll periodically flare up and fill up with fire, and you have to wait for it to go back down before you can pass through. And they get really annoying, especially when you get swamped. Like, I remember, here's the thing I said. I've said this before. I love Code Vein, but Code Vein is a deeply flawed game. And this is one of the reasons why I really hope that Code Vein gets a sequel at some point in the future. Because it is a game that I would love to see its concept get revisited. Ooh. I don't know, Yamiko. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. Speedrunning No, yeah, that's the answer probably. The answer is speed. You either find some way of getting around it, whether that is a clipping thing or there's an alternate route, whichever one it is, I don't know. And you just have to find a way around it, because that's probably the fastest way to deal with it. Anyways, what were we looking at here? Yes, we were looking at the... Nope. Oh no. Yeah, no. The parrying is kind of wonky. I'll also admit that. The incident and difficulty in resolving the incident is compounding. Ah, it's the end of the article. Okay, let's see. Oh, hey, it's Keith. What do you got for me? Yeah. Believe me, Keith, I know. Here's the thing. It's only going to get worse, because as we saw in the previous route, these terrorists that are being mentioned are... You're right. Newcom is not our only enemy. DISION is behind him. DISION is behind him. Well, of course it looks a bit... like crushed like that. This is, well, Yamiko, that's partly because this is the PS1 game. This is the PS1 game, and getting the aspect ratio and resolution right is kind of a bitch. Kind of a pain to try and get that right, and every once in a while, it'll be a little bit wrong, and that probably helps with the looking of like a bit crushed or a bit smudged. Also, again, like I said before, the fact that it's a PS1 game means that the video files for these cutscenes are not exactly HD. Had to fit on a PS1 disc means they are probably 240p. So like, do not expect high resolution out of any of this. Like, they are at best 240p. Especially the bigger cutscenes that come later, because they are for all their technical problems, they're gorgeous. And I really, really, really wish that there was I really hope that there is some forgotten storage warehouse that Bandai Namco owns that happens to have the original raw versions of these cutscenes, that they can be fully remastered. Not this AI bullshit that happens to leave edges smudged and ruins Zito. That doesn't work for animation. AI upscaling and animation, no, they don't mix. They don't mix at all. They are the worst possible combination. I'm not gonna say AI upscaling is like the worst thing ever, or it's evil, but AI upscaling animation or AI interpolation of animation does not end well. Does not end well, because you are putting a finished animation, a finished and rendered animation, into software that only knows how to deal with a specific set of parameters that many animations do not actually use. For example, one of the biggest things, I'm borrowing a bit from a rant here from a couple things I've seen and from a couple of people I've talked to. one of the biggest things that AI interpolation does not understand is the concept of animating on twos. Ooh, yeah, no, that's going to be an issue, Yamiko. That is going to be a potential issue. Actually, like playing. But do you want to know who you can talk to? If you want to talk to somebody about playing retro games on real hardware, do you know Professor Bloom? Professor Bloom is one of the best people to talk about when it comes to overcoming the hurdles of playing retro games, of streaming retro games on real hardware. He is a immensely helpful person. He is wonderful. He will probably answer every question you have and probably pick up on a few you didn't know you needed to do. And he will just lay it all out for you. So if you want to talk about streaming retro games on real hardware, he's the guy to talk to. Is absolutely the guy to talk to for that. Yeah, no. They probably know. Sentai probably knows a bit as well, but like Bloom is like the authority on these. He has gone through so many hardware configurations that he is basically, if you can think of a hardware configuration, he has probably tested it, and he will probably be able to tell you how to get it to work best. I got these things recently. They're called pirulines or pirouettes, depending on where you are. And every single time I've had one of these, I keep coming back to the same thought. And that is, if you know what these are, they're like little tubes of wafer cookie filled with chocolate in the middle. And every time I have one of these, I find myself holding it in a very specific way. And it got me thinking, I bet this entire company that makes these, I don't even know who makes these. Who makes these? Got the can right here. They come in a can, by the way. There it is. The Beauclair, in Madison, Mississippi. The company that makes them. Oh yeah, I ate the whole can. Yeah, but I was thinking I bet that entire company, that Beauclair company, is subsidized by former smokers, because the shape and size of these things is perfect for anybody that's got like an oral fixation or a hand fixation, as a way to like stave off that craving. Because I know, because that's one of the things about quitting smoking. I know this because I've never smoked personally. I've only ever smoked twice, but I've known several people that are smokers. And that is one of the things that people do not realize, is that aside from the nicotine cravings, there's also just the craving of having something in your hand and then like bringing it back and forth up to your mouth. Actually, the action of smoking, that in itself is a somewhat addictive thing. And so I didn't realize this. I periodically go through these moments where I realize that's a thing. That's a thing. The thing that caters to these people, that caters to this hand and oral fixation that former smokers have. People that are either trying to cut down on their smoking or quit smoking or whatever. This is the thing they do, where they need to have something in their hand. And I've noticed that, like I said, even though I basically never smoked, I have that same hand fixation. I always have to just be holding something, like a pen. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I don't have the oral fixation, but I have the hand fixation. Whereas I've got to have the thing between my fingers. And so these things have been an absolute. These things are both dangerous and an absolute godsend for me, because they're a thing that I can hold that doesn't get in the way, but they're also just like full of sugar. They're super bad. You will just eat the whole damn can if you let your own devices. So that's a thing I've noticed as well. It's like just how bad of a thing that is. Oh, also, I just noticed. Let me actually go. I didn't know. I missed that post from you, Dusk, about the photos in Koga's server. About, oh god, did I post this? And no, I didn't. I thought I posted something on the wrong channel. Server. It's fine. I got a ping on Discord, and I thought that I had accidentally posted a promo post outside of a promo channel. I was like, oh god, I've done that before. It's really awkward. And I have to go back and fix it. It's always super awkward when that happens. Ugh. Where were we? Ah, yes. I was gonna go look at those. Oh, wow. Yeah, no. I forgot how pretty. That goddamn Burning City is. It's a pain in the ass to navigate, like you were saying before, Dusk, but it's gorgeous. It's utterly gorgeous, and I love it. There's something about fire. There's something about burning buildings and that sort of dark sky red glow. Maybe not burning buildings, but that dark sky red glow color palette that is beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is one of the most beautiful combinations I've. And I adore it. Doing a thing. I don't even know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing this anyways. Fuck it. What is that though? I gotta make sure that's the right one. I'm posting a thing somewhere else as well that I just thought about that I could do. What am I looking for? I am looking for, yes, that is the code. This, then I do this, then I do this, then I do that. We go here. Okay, anyways, where were we though? Yes, we were looking at the first mission on the... Oh, okay. Well, hey, it was nice having you around, Yamiko. Feel free to say hi sometime. Feel free to say hi anytime in the future you want. Don't worry about it. We'll be here. Maybe not. Well, maybe not always, but you know. Put my schedule's up regularly. Tend to keep a pretty regular streaming schedule. About the same time, unless there's a collab or something else that I'm doing that day. Or, you know, things get in the way. But anyways, that's what I was saying. Yeah, no, we're absolutely. This is going to be great. This is one of my favorite games ever made. Ace Combat 3. I have opinions on the Ace Combat series, by the way. And if you've been here for the Ace Combat streams, whether it's 3 or 7, you heard my opinions on the Ace Combat series. I very much believe that Ace Combat 3, specifically the Japanese version, that for some reason Namco decided, no, I know why they did. Just like, I kind of know why they did, but I still hate it. Namco decided that, nope, we're not getting that. No one outside of Japan is getting this version. We're only going to release this butchered version that has half the routes cut out, and the story is completely rewritten. Ugh, I hate it. Hate it so much. Ace Combat 3 is the best game in the series. On the other hand, one of the games that so many people constantly go on and on and on and on and on about, being like the part of the holy trinity of the series, I think is arguably one of the worst games in the series. I do not like Ace Combat 5. I absolutely do not like Ace Combat. In fact, if anything, let me just give you my quick rundown on my rankings of the main Ace Combat series games. Like, in order from 3 down to... let's just say 5. You know, honestly, of the main series, I think 5 is the worst. We're not going to talk about Advance, Assault Horizon Legacy, or... hell is it called? No, we're going to talk about X, because I think X is part of the main series. But there's a spin-off one. I can't remember the name. And that was also PSP. Joint Assault. We're not going to talk about Joint Assault, Assault Horizon, or Assault Horizon Legacy, or Advance. We're probably not going to talk about Air Combat either, because Air Combat, the very, very first game that they made that was a combat flight game by Namco, is very disconnected from the Ace Combat series, from the rest of the series. So, main Ace Combat series, from best to worst, in my opinion. Try and argue against me. I will come down there. I will shove this Pyroline down into your eye socket. I will light this Pyroline on fire, and I will shove its glowing hot end into your eye socket. Ugh. Yeah, no, it's very primitive. It is extremely primitive, Merlin. It is an extremely primitive game. But it was the foundation. It was the basis for everything that would come afterwards. In fact, Ace Combat 2 also had D-pad controls. There was no analog controls in Ace Combat 2. But anyways, so the ranking. The ranking for me goes like this. But starting at the best. Ace Combat 3. Ace Combat 6. Ace Combat 0. Actually, no. Ace Combat 4. So, 3, 6, 4, 0. Oh, that flame paint scheme, it's pretty tacky. It's pretty tacky. But again, very, very early game of the series. And we'll leave that. We'll leave that as a thing that we will consider that as a product of its time. So it was always the same again. Combat 3, Ace Combat 6, Combat 4, Ace Combat 0, Ace Combat X. So 3, 4, 6, 3, 6, 4. 3, 4, 6. 4 is better than 6. Yes, Virtua On. Virtua On is very cool, Boo Boo Core, but we're not actually... We're going to get to that in a minute. I was trying to say those Ace Combat series, the main Ace Combat series, from best to worst, if you ask me. 3, 4, 6, X, 0. You could argue swapping X and 0. But we'll just leave that be. You could swap X and 0. 0 is a good game. 3, 4, 6, X, 0. That is 3, 4, 6, X, 0. 7. 3, 4, 6, X, 0, 7. 3, 4, 6, X, 0, 7. 2. Then 5. I think that's all of them. I think of the main series, that is all of them. We're not including Code Assault, Assault Horizon, or Assault Horizon Legacy, or Infinity. I think it's I forget, Infinite or Infinity. We're not including those because those are spinoffs. But of the main series, that is, I think, the order from best to worst. Ugh. Am I missing any of them? Let's think here. So there's original Air Combat, which I'm also not including because it's super primitive and very different, very distant from the rest of the series. So starting proper for me. Okay, I'll tell you exactly what makes 5 so bad. What makes 5 so weak in relation to the rest of the series is that 5 does a couple things. One, it is the squadron cast. I cannot stand Archer or Nagase. They are whiny. They are whiny peaceniks. That's the whole thing. They are the worst way to deliver an anti-war message. If you want to deliver an anti-war message, you have to show hell. And this is what Ace Combat 4 does brilliantly. Ace Combat 4 comes out basically saying war is bad, and then follows up by showing you suffering, misery that comes out of war. It shows you how war tears countries apart, how it can tear even families and friends and families apart from each other as they pick sides. It shows you the devastation that is left behind as war rolls through a population. Meanwhile, 5 does the same thing. It starts with saying war is a bad thing. War is bad. But then, instead of demonstrating that misery, suffering, hatred, and frankly, bluntly, hatred that comes out of war, it just all Ace Combat 5 does is continue to say war is bad with increasing volume. That's all it does. Its message is shallow. It's basically the same message as 4, but it's shallow, and as a result, it does not have nearly the same impact, and it comes off, and as a result, it comes off as whiny. It comes off as childish. That's why I don't like 5. No, that's why I don't like 5 from a story perspective. From a gameplay perspective, there is another reason I don't like it. That is because 5 strips out a lot of the great mechanics that were in 4. Great mechanics that we saw didn't have to be stripped out because they were reintroduced in 0. Yes, I know you only have 1 wingman in 0 as opposed to 3, but the fact that each aircraft only has 1 kind of special weapon was a terrible decision. And on top of that, XP grind system where you had to beat out an aircraft in order to unlock its variants was a terrible concept. That is something that should... A grind like that, a repetitive, tedious grind like that, should never be present in a full-price retail game. I'm gonna make that stand right here. That sort of tedium does not belong in a full price retail game. Ever. And this was in 2005 that they did. 2005, 2006. When they released this game, and it had this exact sort of almost what feels like a predecessor to the free-to-play monetization model of the grind, the repetition, but in a full-price retail. I do not like that mechanic. It is a terrible mechanic, and I hate it. I absolutely hate that mechanic. Cannot stand it. But that is why I don't like 5. That is why I don't like it. Ace Combat 4... Ace Combat 5 is basically, from a story perspective, Ace Combat 4 but worse. That is the story of Ace Combat 5 in a nutshell. There are some detail differences. End of the day, on top of everything else, it's the way that from the get-go, this is something that always rubs me the wrong way. This is something that will always rub me the wrong way, and it's another reason why I love Ace Combat. Basically, from the moment the war gets going, the player's squadron basically gets elevated to the status of the chosen heroes that will save the world. And it just grates at me so hard. I don't like stories where... I don't like that sort of, you are the chosen one story. This is arguably a more subjective thing. I don't like that. I don't like being told, you are the chosen hero that will fix everything. If any, I much prefer stories. I much prefer stories where you are there to do a job, and that's what matters. There to do a job. You are part of, you are a part of something bigger. And if your contribution happens to be, that's something that develops. That's not something that comes in, like, basically you are told from the get-go that you're going to save the world. This is the big difference between, again, another game in the series, Ace Combat 5, Ace Combat 7. 7, you're part of a squadron that's a special strike squadron, but you're still, again, like I said, you are contributing to a larger war effort. You are going after key priority targets. It is framed as you're going after key priority targets that would make the rest of the game, that would make the war, that would impede the war effort if you don't destroy them in advance. But again, you're part of something bigger. You're part of something, you are there to fulfill, again, you're there to do a job. You're there to deal with a threat, overall war effort. You are not there told how great you are and how you're going to save the world and you're the chosen one. You're the chosen one. You can show it. That's the whole point, really. Don't tell me I'm the chosen one. Make me believe I am. That's my big issue. Mobius 1 does have a lot of that. But the big thing with Mobius 1 is, again, you start to believe it. You start to believe that Mobius, your contribution is a big deal. That you are still part of something bigger. That if you were removed from the picture, the war would still go on and could still be won. And this is the big difference between Ace Combat 4 and 7, and Ace Combat 5. In Ace Combat 4 and 7, OBS 1, Trigger wasn't there, the war could theoretically still be won by ISAF and the IUNPF, respectively. On the other hand, yes, stick with Trigger and you'll make it, but stick with Trigger and you'll make it that as a pilot, by flying alongside Trigger, you have a higher chance of survival. It doesn't mean Trigger is lucky. Trigger is a good not lucky. I'm saying, oh, Trigger just got lucky. No, I mean, Trigger is a good luck charm. But again, Trigger is still part of something bigger. Trigger is still part of an overall war effort. I'm going to reiterate that part I mentioned before. Removed Trigger from the IUNPKF. The IUNPKF still could have defeated Erusea. If you remove Mobius 1 from ISAF, ISAF still could have defeated Erusea. If you remove Wardog Squadron from Ocean Air Force completely, remove them from the story of Ace Combat 5, that story doesn't end the same way. That is the big difference between games Ace Combat 4 and Ace Combat 7 and Ace Combat 5. It is the gravity of the player's role in that situation. Ace Combat 3 takes this idea to a further extent. You are not only part of something bigger, you are reminded that you're part of something. And that does a lot to change the tone of the story. But I've been rambling along here long enough. I've been rambling along here for about almost an hour now. I'm only 45, about 50 minutes. 45 if you include all of the, what's the word I'm looking for here? The loading screen. If you include the loading screen. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, Merlin. And yeah, no, Dusk. Lancer's an interesting game. I know people on both sides of the aisle of opinion when it comes to Lancer. I know people that love Lancer. I know people that hate Lancer. I know people that have very good reasons for loving or hating Lancer. I also know people that whenever they mention their opinion on Lancer, I want to strangle them. Strangle them because the reasons for their opinion on Lancer are terrible. They are uninformed and they are based entirely on ideology. Ugh, and I cannot stand those people because it is so narrow, and worse still, in many cases, they're hypocritical about it. Because there will be a game that is very ideological, and it'll have ideological talking points, but they're ideological talking points that person agrees with. And they'll be like, you should try it. Just be like, just go in there and be like, lol, it's whatever, lol, whatever. And even if you don't agree with the beliefs of the creator, just try it. It's like, you're a hypocrite. You're a fucking hypocrite. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. You have fantastic knowledge, game design. You have, yeah, no, exactly, Hodge, exactly. That's exactly what it is. People have blinders. People have these. Here's the thing. Everyone has ideological blinders. Let's get that out of the way right now. Everyone has ideological blinders. But one of the most important things you can do with your ideological blinders is acknowledge them. You will never be able to see through your ideological blinders. They are ever present. They will always be there. And acknowledging them is learn how to see around. You won't get full picture. You can never get the full picture. You are not immune to propaganda. I don't care who you are. You are not immune to propaganda. Let's just get that out of the way right now. But at the end of the day, you will be able to find out where your blind spots are. And thus, knowing where your blind spots are, you can find other people to fill those blind spots. You can find people that help you. Find people that you may not agree with them ideologically, but they are articulate. They have good reasons for believing in what they believe in. And that is it is through good faith discussion, necessarily debate, but just association with those. That is the only way that you can, like I said, you can have a whole view, whatever it is. You can truly stand behind whatever your opinion and beliefs are. If your beliefs cannot survive a trial by fire from somebody who does not agree with them, your beliefs are foolish. They're pathetic. You need to reevaluate them. Even if you don't fundamentally change, you need to make them more able to survive. You have reasons that let them withstand trial by fire. That is the most important thing you can do as a fully developed. Don't be blind. Or put it in other ways, don't be blinded by ideas. Don't be so set in your, yes, trial by fire in good faith. Absolutely, Hodge. The trial by fire has to be in good faith. And this is one of the things that is one of the things that in the modern climate of social media and and 280 character messages can be very hard to find, because one of the most important things to that good faith discussion, sitting down. That is one of the things that social media discourages. It discourages taking time to have detailed, nuanced discussion. There are ways to get around this. Most people do not want to. They don't, and that is a frustrating thing. It is immensely frustrating. Having to deal with people that don't want around them, especially when it's a person. Otherwise, nothing but good interaction. It's one of those things where it means that you can never discuss these. You have to walk on eggshells around. You can never let them get onto whatever their personal belief is, to redirect every conversation. You have to keep very harsh lookout on what the topic is and say, no, we're going this way now because I know what happens. Don't. You have to be able to deflect conversations. Oh, absolutely, Hodge. Absolutely. Is absolutely terrible at this on a structural level. And here's the thing. It is social media is kind of a victim of its own intention. It is a victim of its own intentions. It is a victim of its constraints. It is a victim of its original, because when social media was first being developed, the internet was a very different place. And what I mean by that is infrastructure, very different place. There were much more constraints. For example, greater number of people on 56K modems. And that meant you couldn't have messages, you couldn't have... Oh, am I cutting out? Sorry about that. Let me move some things around, see if that helps. Let me check something, because I'm pretty sure I did this earlier, but I know this is a thing that can cause the mic to act up. So let me check this very quickly, because I know that if it's not set correctly, good. It is. Okay. Yes, Twitter was literally made to be operated by SMS. That is exactly what I'm talking about. It's a victim of its original. It was designed to work on SMS and 56K modems. And because of that, it had to use that 144 character. Now, only several years later was it expanded to 280. That is not enough. That failed argument in place. And it leads to at least to two things that are very nasty. It leads to conversation. It leads to shouting match. It leads to conversations being replaced by shouting matches, and it leads to a mob mentality, where instead of arguing your point based on its own merit, it is reduced to, I am right because I have more loud people behind me, and we are going to shout over you. That's just not a healthy thing. Not a healthy thing. When we, for one reason, put ourselves in a situation where so many important matters over the heavily trained, whose structure not designed discourages any sort of nuanced conversation. That is something that you're only now starting to figure out how we solve. I don't know what the answer is going to be. I don't. Because this is difficult and complex questions. But I know that or another, we're out of this rut of politics as a shouting match. Where people are afraid to express their own beliefs, however vile they may be. Get that out of the way right now. vile those beliefs may be, that is something that gets discussed afterwards. Because if you try and shout that person down, again, I'll say it again, however vile those beliefs may be, shouting that person down merely makes them retreat in an echo chamber where those beliefs are then hardened. It doesn't discourage them. Change the opinion. It does not fix it. You just make things worse. You think you've dunked on them. You think that you've given them an epic reality check. All you've done is drive them further into whatever hole they're in. Further into whatever hole they're in. Just made them worse. That's really the end of that, right? Just as a person, you've made them worse as a person for the sake of a dopamine kick. So let's see what this first mission is, shall we? Even then, Hodge, even then. Yeah, no, it's works. But anyways, we're gonna see what this is here. Newcomb, we get a boosted weapons development line that we get a huge advantage. So we will be intercepting the space shuttle. So last time we were in this, last route we were on, the Newcomb route, we actually flew that space shuttle. Let me tell you right now, that space shuttle is fun. I love flying the space shuttle. I love the space shuttle mission. It's so cool because the space shuttle mission has its own set of specific mechanics that are only used for the space shuttle mission that basically let you fly, that are all about flying in a zero gravity, zero atmosphere environment. And that includes the fact that there is an upper and lower constraint to your altitude. Because if you fly up too high, your orbit, you basically achieve escape velocity. You escape orbit and you fly off into space. And if you fly too low, you burn up in the atmosphere. So that is a fascinating set of mechanics that are so bespoke and so distinct and have not been in any other game in the series. And in fact, like I said before, were only used in that one mission in the series. It has never appeared anywhere else. And that is just crazy. It's crazy to think about how that's only ever had one appearance in the series. Anyways, we've got an F-22. We've got a spaceport. Let's go blow up a spaceport, shall we? Also, if you want to know one of the other things about Ace Combat 3 that makes it distinctive, I have some clips that you might also be interested in. My rants on missile guidance theory and how Ace Combat 3 is somewhat unique among the series. Not just for its missile guidance, but pay attention. Pay attention to, oh god, I'm terrible. Oh god, move. God, move. Crank that missile. Good. Bring us around. Get up here. Go. Let's see if we can get the shot. Yes! Ah, too far off. So Ace Combat 3, what I will say about Ace Combat 3 is that Ace Combat 3 is unique in how it handles missile guidance. I talk about this in greater detail in the Ace Combat 7 clips, where I actually go into missile guidance laws and discuss how different guidance laws affect the behavior of the missile. One of the big things being the idea of pure pursuit versus proportional navigation. Every Ace Combat game, aside from 3, uses... Oh god, you're gonna go for the Pegasus. Oh, good lord. I know enough about the Pegasus to know what you're doing here, Dusk. I know what you're doing here, and I am judging you. I am judging you ever so slightly. Let's just put it that way. What's the thing about missile guidance laws? Oh yes, missile guidance laws. So Ace Combat 3 has some degree of proportional navigation. Yes, I know you want the fancy gun. Destroy the entire facility. Okay, I can do that for you. Let's see what we got here. Update target. Okay, so we've been wasting our time with all these jets. We need to go this way and actually go for the ground targets. Yes, I know about the Mimic Gun. I know about the Mimic Gun and how cool the Mimic Gun is. What do we got here? R2-11. Project Wingman's is good. I have other issues with Project Wingman. More specifically, I have problems with its writer. I do not like how Matthew Nguyen writes stories. I've known Matthew. I've known about. I've followed. I've been associated with Matthew Nguyen in one way or another for quite some time. Long before he was. Yes, he has a history. He has a very interesting history. I don't know if you know this name as well. You might not know this name. You might know this name, Merlin. Do you know Michael Durao? Michael Durao, also known as Zaku. Does that name mean any? Does that name have any significance to you? So Zaku, I'm just gonna call him Zaku because that's easier. Zaku or Durao, however you want to call him, is another person that's been involved in a lot of the Ace Combat work. Oh God, we just died. We died because I'm talking about the writers, about like people who have been involved in the Ace Combat communities for, like, these guys have been around since at least the early 2010s, possibly longer. But what I was saying about Durao, I forget, I don't even know how you say his name. It's Portuguese. I don't know how you say that shit. He's not Portuguese, but Durao is a Portuguese name. Yeah, Durao. Michael Durao. He is, like I said, Zaku, as I call him. He has also been involved in this. And he has been one of those people that has often been going back and forth with Blue Way, Fly Away Now, Matthew Nguyen, whatever you want to call him, and having to deal with his bullshit. So I've heard a lot about that from him. Because I know the guy a bit. I won't say much more than that, but I do know the guy a bit. If any of these are going to do anything. Ugh. But it's also how I know, like, one of the worst qualities about Matthew Nguyen as a writer is that he is very fond of that exact same style of storytelling that I despise. He is very fond of that sort of storytelling that's present in the holy trinity of the Ace Combat games. I hate that term. I hate that term so much. He's not a good writer at all. I'm just gonna say it right now. He needs other people to rein him in, because otherwise he is going to go off a cliff and basically write something that makes Ace Combat 5 look good. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, move, move, move. Ow. Fuck. That hurts. Yes, I know, missile alert. Hold on, I'm working on it. Let's get this going. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get up, 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 get up. Okay, we've got lock. We've got lock. Tone is good. Got the target. Now, where's his friend at? Hello. Hey there, Cynthia. I was wondering when you're going to show up again. Let's see if we can't get a shot on her. Yeah, no, that was a terrible shot. But, by the way, what I was saying before about Ace Combat 3, as opposed to other games in the series that makes it unique with its missile guidance, is that Ace Combat 3 actually has some degree of proportional guidance to its missiles. Like, watch how the missiles actually go. They aren't trying to always fly towards where their target is. They pull, not a lot, but they pull a bit of lead. This is especially noticeable in the Newcom planes, which have the high agility missiles. I forget what they're called. I think they might just be called small missiles in that game. But basically, they're a more maneuverable version of the missiles in this. The more maneuverable missile. That's what's relevant here. We couldn't get her. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's go deal with this shit, I guess. Yes, yes, destroy the entire facility before the cargo is unloaded. I know, I've got this. Where are you? R2. That's the R103. I don't need to worry about that, except that for that, it's Cynthia. She's going to keep shooting at me. So we need to get ourselves into a better... Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely a ton that goes into it. This is also why... Do you mind if I mention something real quickly? Do you mind if I mention something real quickly? I know that its name actually starts with K, but I have another nickname for DCS, Merlin. Because I've talked to a lot of subject matter experts on things like missile guidance and other air combat matters. So along with being called Digital Combat Simulator, I have another name for it. Dunning-Kruger Simulator. Because there are a lot of people on the DCS and combat flight sim as a whole that exhibit that sort of Dunning-Kruger behavior. that show, that basically that act like DCS is a perfectly realistic simulation of how missiles work in air-to-air combat, when in many ways it is hilariously unrealistic. There are, okay, just for let's get the obvious out of the way. Hello, thank you for the follow, Meowjin. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, no. Thank you for the follow. We're playing Ace Combat 3, but I'm also taking a moment to talk about how DCS and a lot of other flight sims have created a massive Dunning-Kruger effect when it comes to the mechanics of air-to-air combat, because good lord, is it awful. It is terrible how bad the Dunning-Kruger effect from the DCS series has been terrible, because it's really easy to tell somebody who's talking about air combat from the perspective of somebody who's played the combat series that they're wrong, because it is blatantly an arcade game. But because DCS is a sim, these people will be insistent that even if you have evidence from a subject matter expert, or worse, you are a subject matter expert, like several people that I know, you must not know what you're talking about, because DCS obviously has it right. I knew a guy who was one of the engineers, one of the F-35 engineers. He couldn't tell me exactly what that would get nice men in dark suits showing up at his door, but he was involved, and I want to say the fire control instrumentation of F-35. And obviously that is very much the kind of thing where he cannot talk about that, cannot go into detail. Like I said, that would make nice men in dark suits with dark glasses. Yeah, no, that's a huge red flag, Merlin. That's a huge red flag. Weapons are platform agnostic. The fact that the weapons vary from platform to platform, that should be the red flag. That's not just a red flag. That is the red flag. An R60 is an R60 is an R60. An AMRAM is an AMRAM. Matter if it's being an F-15 or an F-20 or an FA-18. It is an AMRAM. The differences come the aircraft instrument. That was what would cause any behavioral differences between them. The other thing, also, Merlin, the other thing about DCS that means that it can't exactly, that it has a lot of issues really realistically replicating things, is that there is no consistent quality. The quality of DCS modules varies wildly. On one end, you have heat blurs work with things like the F-14 or the MiG-21. On the other hand, you have the Hawk module. Are you familiar with the story of the Hawk module, Merlin? Are you at all familiar with the story of the Hawk module and how the Hawk module is a travesty? It is a travesty of development that was being made by a bunch of untalented hacks who, here's the thing, to be a hack is not just be a hack. I was just going to say, to be considered a hack, you not only have to have a lack of talent, you also have to be pretentious. You have to think you are much more talented. So it's not just the lack of talent, it's believing you're far more talented than you are. Coming back around, it's Dunning-Kruger. To be a hack, you have to be on the upper left side of the Dunning-Kruger curve. Dunning-Kruger being a simplification because there's more that goes into that. It's not just that, it doesn't just go like that. It's more than that. We're using Dunning-Kruger as a simple way of explaining it because it's an abstraction that people know about and don't want to get into detail. But that is what makes you a hack, is if you are on that part of the Dunning-Kruger curve. And the people that were making Hawk module were the definition hack. I forget actually how you say the name, but it was something like Veo, and it was spelled like Veiao, and they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. You could see It wasn't just that the models were ugly. I could forgive an ugly model. I could forgive an ugly model if it worked and everything was modeled, everything was done well. But it's the fact that it was riddled bugs. It was riddled. Yeah, VEO, VEAO. That's what it was. VEO were hacks. VEO were absolute hacks. They had no idea what they were doing. Would not listen to criticism. They wouldn't listen to anyone. They wouldn't even listen to the people from Eagle Dynamics who were trying to tell them, hey, this is going to make things crash. This is going to cause bugs. This is going to make frame rate. This is going to lead to frame rate drops. They insisted on doing things their own way, even if it was bad. I hate it. I hate it so much. But that is one of the biggest problems with trying to say that DCS is real. Like DCS is like very realistic. Is the wild variation in quality between modules. Like I said, Heatblur know what they're doing mostly, and they're quite good at it. I mean, look at how well the F-14 has been received, even by former F-14 pilots and people who worked on the AWG-9 radar. No, they got pilot reports, they got documentation, and they did the best job they could to make the best representation they could within the constraints of DCS. And good lord, where the results are glorious. I would be willing to pay. I am willing to pay what Heatblur wants. I would be. I don't have it. I don't have it because I don't actually have anybody to do DCS shit with. But if I knew people that were doing DCS stuff and had the F-14, I would be willing to pay the money that Heatblur wants for the F-14 module. It is that good. It is a good module. There we go. Down you go, Cynthia. Now, what are we looking for here? We need to go back around this way. Let's see. What's our target picture look like? We've got a string of priority targets marked in red. And then from there, it looks like there's a bunch of other secondary targets as well. Those are probably going to be air defenses that we might have to deal with to reduce our threat picture. Let's get a look here, see what we got. That is another R102. Keith's got that, so we don't have to worry about it so much. Let's just head down into the facility and start hitting those priority targets. What we got here? Anti-aircraft guns. There's the R211s, which I think are, weirdly enough, a ground attack aircraft of all things. SAM sites need to be dealt with real quickly because they're going to be a threat if we don't. Juke, 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 juke. Good, 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 good. Fly left rudder. Get ourselves over. Hit that. Oh, good. Oh, that was a little worried. That was a little bad. What do we got here? R211. This is priority target. Engaging. We got him. Nope, not enough damage. Yeah, the R211 is basically a heavy. Oh, no, Joker is fantastic. Joker is a better Rio than basically any human Rio. Like, anyone but the absolute best human Rio, Joker is better. Joker is that good. The work that went into making Joker work, making Joker as good as Joker is amazing. No, that would explain a lot. That he's literally cheating, Merlin. But there's something to be said for having something that cheats, but you don't realize it's cheating unless you, like, dig into it. That is a... Ooh, almost pancake there. Left rudder. Cut our speed. Bring ourselves back around. Accelerate. Fuck. Ah, shit! Pancaked into the ground because of that SAM. That's a maneuver kill. Yes, retry. Okay, where were we? I mean, I'm not sure if he actually cheats. I've just had him in human Rios and the speed he acquires. Oh, yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's like, that's kind of what I mean by he kind of cheats. He absolutely does cheat. He is superhuman. His reaction times are superhuman. There is no other way of putting it. He absolutely reacts faster than any human Rio could. The advantage of a particularly skilled human Rio over Joker is the fact that Joker is faster. Joker can acquire a target faster than any human Rio can. But what Joker does kind of fail at, and this is largely just a constraint of of an AI handling this is Joker's compared to a skilled, notice my use of that term, skilled human Rio. While Joker is faster at acquiring targets, Joker is worse at prioritization. Joker is less skilled when it comes to, assigning priority to those targets and figuring out and decide and making decisions on which ones need to be engaged first. However, even then, Joker is only better than like the best. Is only behind like the best human Rios. People who have spent hours analyzing the AWG-9 radar system and getting familiar with how it works, and have a good understanding of tactics. So like I said, only the very best of human Rios can beat Joker. But the way they do is something that Joker might never be able to do better than a human Rio, or at least in a good one. At least compared to a good one. Joker does not have the ability to, does not have as good of an ability to prioritize and plan an engagement, which puts that load back on the pilot. That could be a very difficult situation to be in. There we go, that takes care of that R211. Let's see what else we got floating around here. Cynthia's probably still chasing us because of course she is. That's an R102. I don't need to worry about that. Where's Cynthia? There she goes. Yeah, go away, Cynthia. Fuck off. We're not here for you. We're not here for you. We need to also make sure we don't waste too much ammo on Cynthia. Oh! The fish bit, that's heat blur. That is what heat blur used to be before they were heat blur. I forget what they were called before, but they changed their name to heat blur. Oh, no, in this game. Okay, I thought you were talking about in DCS. Yeah, no. Oh, super fish bed. I don't remember there being like an actual fish bed in this game. The aircraft that I remember, it's funny, it's like you start with, as your starting planes are as a Eurofighter Typhoon. Your starting aircraft is a Eurofighter Typhoon. That is how obsolete, that's how far in the future it is. That is how obsolete the Eurofighter Typhoon is. Ugh. That is with various upgrades being applied to it as well. Oh, move up. Cut our speed. Apply some rudder. Get into a turn. We need to throw that missile into a bad intercept solution. Where is it? We got it. Okay, good. There's more. Fuck off. Hey, oh, God. Yep. Where was that? I didn't even see the damn thing. I'm just lurking while I figure out some lore bits for my pilot before I crash. Need to figure out what the accident was that caused a lot of nerve damage. Oh, God. I look over at what you're saying, Duska. That's immediately when a missile decides it's going to be like, hi, what are you doing here? Oh, man. But anyways, yeah, no, that is actually one of the things I have to say I personally don't like about not just Lancer, but a lot of what you might call normal or standard RPGs. I don't like writing backstories. Even if I'm prompted, even if I have like prompts to help me do it, I don't like writing backstories. It's one of the things I love about Necronica. I've mentioned this before. I love Necronica because one of the big things about it is your characters all have amnesia. Every character in the game has amnesia. Watch those missiles, by the way. Did you see that maneuver they made to pull lead on Cynthia's aircraft before engaging? Oh, is Time of War bad? Merlin? I'm not familiar with it. I'm guessing it's one of the Warhammer RPGs, and I know those vary wildly in quality as well. Those also vary wildly. Got you, Cynthia. Good. That means the biggest threat's been dealt with. Let's take a look at our threat picture. That leaves that R211, which is down there. We can focus on them now, which is going to be much easier. You might want to actually get these R2... Oh, it's Battletech. Okay. Oh, no. I've heard about Time of War It's bloated, hard, making a character alone is... Oh, good lord. That reminds me of my experience with the Witcher TRPG, Merlin. So, I was on a collab with Mari, Merceau, and Renvalia. And you might have been there. I don't know if you were there. For people who weren't there, I was on a collab with those three. And while I was there, oh god, hey, the shuttle's landing. Okay, shuttle's landing, confirmed. Ah, the mosquitoes are back. God, I just killed one of these things too. I swear, I hate these fuckers so much. Look at my homebrew the character has. They have an NHP in their neural system as an accident, which has in turn made them very socially anxious. Oh, that's gonna be very. That's weird. That is difficult to play, particularly because of the nature of NHPs, Dusk. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be a very interesting thing to see how well you manage to play that. Bring ourselves around, bring ourselves around, bring ourselves around. Also, on the subject of Lancer, I do know at least one other person that's going to be in a Lancer game soon, and I have to ask. Are you is your game at all connected to it? Because Congo is going to be in a Lancer game sometime soon. Because I was talking to him during his Hyakunin Zatsudan, which is something he does at the beginning of every month. Basically, he has chats with a bunch of his viewers about what they're doing, what they're looking forward to, what they've been doing this past month, how things have developed for them. And he was talking about how he is going to be in either, I don't know if he's going to be playing in or running, but one or the other. He's going to be involved in a Lancer game. Bye. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, bring ourselves around, bring ourselves around, bring ourselves around. Cut speed, cut speed, cut speed. Get our turn radius in. Don't bleed off too much energy, though. Get ourselves into the terrain features. That should give the missile a harder time intercepting. Looks like we've got a tail. Our 701. No. Looks like these are just helicopters. Okay, R102. That's our next train. Next tail. Nope, it's gonna be with friends trying their hand at GMing Lancer. One thing I will also say about Lancer, and I've said this to people before about it, you need to have a voice channel for out-of-character interactions and for out-of-character and action declarations, because you, as the players, are exchanging a lot of information with your GM. There's a lot of back and forth going on that is very difficult to achieve with just text. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, and that will help you out a lot with just keeping everything in check. There's a lot of reaction shots, Overwatch, all that kind of stuff that comes into play, and knowing what and being able to go on, being able to mention it without delay and in real time is going to be super, super handy. Originally, was going to have a kind of Barbados kind of thing, but after a bit of discussion, I had no idea how Lancer worked. I went with the NHP thing. Honestly, Dusk, that's similar to something I did. So back when I was in a Lancer game, that unfortunately fell apart because a lot of the players their lives kind of took a nosedive. Took a nosedive recently. What are we dealing with here? we've not failed the mission. That's what's important. R808, die. Boom, there goes the tower. What's all's left? Looks like we've got 2 aircraft left, plus some secondary targets. Okay, we don't need to worry about the secondaries. Go for the primary aircraft targets, which are these R211s. 1, 2, shots out. Ah, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Good, good, good. Recover energy, recover energy, recover energy. Okay, we need to go we need to go vertical. Go vertical, go vertical, go vertical. We need the energy advantage. Ace Combat 3 is different. Energy actually matters a lot more in Ace Combat 3 than it does in, again, basically every other game in the series. Get ourselves back around, get ourselves back around. Get that up, get up. Go, 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 go. Where's that coming from? Where's that coming from? ID the launch, ID the launch. Okay, we juked it, we juked it. Yes, I have heard about Flying Circus, Merlin. I love Flying Circus. I've never had a chance to play Flying Circus, but the concept is so cool. I know exactly the RPG you're talking about. Ugh. There's that one, and there's another one as well. Planes and Mercs. Are you familiar with that one? That's another one that's also really cool. Again, I've never had the chance to play either of them, but, and for all I know, I don't know about flying. Planes and Mercs, for all I know, could just be a D20 clone. But I just remember it because it is very much that same sort of Ace Combat 0 flying mercenary scenario. And I do like Ace Combat Zero, the way that Ace Combat Zero did that. That you were a mercenary soldier hired by a country that stood no chance against a much greater power. Oh, you can make flying surfer invade anything you want. Nice. That is nice to know. I might have to dig up to see if I still have the rules for flying circuits lying around, or I have to find them. But at some point, that is actually something I want to take a look at. I want to take a look at how it works and and see if anybody else will be interested in playing it. So that's the first mission done. Oh. honestly, Merlin, go ahead. Do it. Do it, coward. Race destruction was a success, and oh god, we did so badly. Yes, and this is the other thing. I love the fact that the feedback in mission debriefs is reflected how well your mission ranking was. So you will actually get insulted in some cases if you barely clear a mission, particularly on the UPO route. You will just get insulted. DISION's behind. So forget about Mr. Vacation. We'll do something with just us. Okay, I can do that. I can do that, Keith. Call once in a while, will you? Even go for a drink. Oh, but when we do, let me guess. Yo, you better be prepared to listen to me, reminiscent until it makes you sick. I thought he was gonna say I'm gonna have to be the one to pay for it. Back to the Barbados thing. It was the main reason I wanted to use a Pegasus, honestly, because if I did it on a Minotaur, it just wouldn't work. Ran by a guy who studied a lot of World War I air combat and played Ace Combat. So it was really the kind of this kind of really grim. Oh my god. That's just World War I in general. That's just World War I in general, Merlin. Grim. World War I is misery and blood, and even for a pilot, it sucked. Even as a pilot, it sucked because your aircraft was unreliable. It was this rickety little rattle trap made out of wood and fabric, and you had two big ass guns up in the front that were basically a quarter of the plane's weight. The get paid was, oh my god, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. I love Porco Rosso. Porco Rosso is one of the best movies Studio Ghibli ever made. I'm gonna get that over right now. Porco Rosso, one of the best movies Studio. It is an amazing. So pretty. Oh, I gotta select the memory card. So, yes. Okay. Welcoming committee. Save over this because this is the general resource route. Then we need. Okay, that's good. Where are we now? Alright, in urgent deployment. What do you got, Keith? By the way, I probably mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again real quickly. These cutscenes were done by Production IG. And not just any Production IG. These were done by late 90s Production IG. This was Production IG when they were working on Ghost in the Shell. And, oh my god. In some of them, it showed. You can tell, like, this is the Ghost in the Shell. I love the like these little like vignettes here where you see that. Those aren't so great because they're just a person's face. But there are some shots where it's, for example, a news report on a news anchor at a desk, you're making a report, or you're seeing footage of an incident of some type. Oh, pretty. Yeah, and good night, Dusk. Go get some sleep. Go get some sleep. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Never deprive yourself of sleep for my sake. Don't hurt yourself for my. I've said that before. I will continue to maintain that stance. Don't do it. Do not do it. Do not hurt yourself for me. That is one of the biggest mistakes you could make. That's one of the worst things you could do. And come over there. I will bind you. I will bind you up. I will bind you up in. I don't even know what I'm gonna bind you up. I will bind your ass up. I will make you. Oof. Anyways, what were we doing? Oh yeah. So we are next is claustrophobia. What do we got here? Getting the Newcom missile base. Oh, that's spicy. Find it and destroy it. Searching in a foggy canyon for this base. Some difficulty as expected. Ah, low visibility. Yay! This is gonna be a fun time. I can already tell from here. Sacker Falcon, Eagle Plus, Raptor 2. No. Urn. We want the urn for this. Because the urn has the spread bombs. Spread bombs are amazing. Oh yeah. Reading Albert Ball's. Oh god. Albert Ball, Johnny Rickenbacker. People always go on about like Manfred von Richthofen and the other German aces, but those two in particular, Albert Ball and Eddie Rickenbacker, just they have. I know, like you said, Ball was memoirs, and I'm pretty sure Rickenbacker also has a pretty extensive memoir as well. That go into how the war was for them, and it's a great thing to compare those. It's a great thing to cross-reference those memoirs with their German counterparts, because that gives you a more whole picture of the conflict. You never want this. You never want to confine yourself to a single perspective, especially with something as big as the Great Eurasian War. By the way, yes, the Great Eurasian War is kind of a nickname I have for everything between 1905, everything between 1905 and 1945. Can kind of all be considered part of the same war. And so that's what I mean by saying the Great Eurasian War. It's all of those wars combined. Bombs away. Pickle, pickle. Ah, yes. Best track of the game. Best track of the game. Let's go. We got the best track of the game. Well, definitely one of the best tracks in the game. It's this and Montage. And Montage only plays in like 2 missions. Yes. Yes. Poilu? I don't remember if it's Poilu. One of the other things that I would also say, there's another French war memoir. I forget who it's by and I forget what it's called, but it's not Poilu. Oh no, Junger's Batchins. But I forget there is a second French war memoir that is also great to cross-reference with Poilu, because author of that war memoir, I forget which one it is. I forget the name of it. Because like I said, there's Poilu, which is written by... I have to check that. Poilu is written by... author. Memoir. Was this written by? Louis Bartos. So Poilu is written by Louis Bartos. And then there was another French war memoir that I can't remember the name of. But the reason that it stands out to me, I can't remember the name, but I can't remember the name of it, is because either Bartos or the author of that other memoir was a socialist. Was a very not devout, a very hard, not hard line, but a very, what's the word I'm looking for here? Somebody that's very entrenched, a very entrenched socialist. And they have a very different perspective. So as a result, because of that perspective of coming from a very entrenched, very dedicated socialist, they have a very different perspective of the war. Remember, if it's Poilu or the other, if it's Bartos or the other author that is the socialist. There's 2 of them. Okay, let's see. Bartos might have been. One of them was a socialist. Okay, Bartos was the socialist. Remember, there's another World War I memoir, French. Can't remember what it is, and it's not Poilu. Is it Blood and Mud? No, that's. I can't remember the name of it, and that's kind of bothering me. French Soldiers War Diary. I think this is Henri Desagneau. Henri Desagneau has a diary that you can that. I think that's it. Sure, this is the one. Desagneau. Sure, this is when I get it. Ba-da-ba-da. Are you the guy? Might not be him. It might not be Henri Desagneau, but there is another French memoir. It might be Henri Desagneau, but it might be another one that is really good to cross-reference against Poilu to get a better perspective of the French view of how the French soldier saw the war. Much in the same way how, like you said, Younger is a bit of a psycho. That's actually a great way of putting it. Listen, that's probably where the contrast comes from. Merlin is that he's an officer, whereas Bartos was an infantryman. And while there is one of the things that's really frustrating about that part about World War I, that narrative of lions led by donkeys on so long. This idea of callous, bloodthirsty officers sending peasant soldiers. And a lot of this comes from Poilu. It comes from the socialist memoir. They have, and a lot of it's because they have a vested interest. It is good air. Either the writings of officers, non-socialist counterparts. All about perspective. About identifying vested interest for whoever you're reading or listening to or whatever, and being able to, even if you agree with them, identify. Even if you agree, if you that person, understand. That largely falls onto the back one particular general, because there was, or rather, not the fact that it was a thing they did, but the fact that it dragged on way too long, kind of falls onto one particular French officer. I think you know who I'm talking about. This whole dragging out the cult of the offensive, that this sitting in trenches with artillery and the machine guns, killing field, that all this was just a temporary lull, and that eventually a breakthrough would be made. Yes, Nouvelle. It almost entirely, and not the fact that it existed, but the fact that it dragged on for so long, falls almost entirely on the of Robert Nouvelle. Because before his predecessor, Joseph Joffre realized that this idea was a fantasy. Even Joffre realized this fantasy, that this whole idea of we're eventually gonna make a breakthrough somewhere, and then we'll unleash the cavalry, we'll fix bayonets, charge in, and make the offensive, and clear and send the Germans all the way back to Berlin. And by 1916, even Joffre knew that was a fantasy. But Nouvelle, for whatever reason, Nouvelle had no idea what Nouvelle was a great salesman. Nouvelle sold the French civilian government on this idea of, the Thunderbolt offensive. Rapid attack. It didn't work out. Within 48 hours, we'd cancel the whole thing. And it would be fine. It was a guarantee. But of course, as we all know, what happens next is the offensive inevitably bogs down. In front, nightmare land. And and when it does, the French government tries in that guarantee. By then, it's too late. By then, Nouvelle is cannot stop going. I'm the one who makes decisions here. He grifted French civil. It's the kind of grift that a guy like Allbones Jones has to appreciate. That's how good the grift is. he would appreciate Nouvelle's grift. He absolutely would appreciate Nivelle. Uh, ugh. But that is the big thing about, like I said, Robert Nivelle and how he dragged along the offensive and the idea of Elan. You can see this if you look at even there are snippets I've seen or I've heard here and there of other officers, other generals complaining about Nivelle's insistence that the offensive go forward, even when it really failed, even when it has clearly bogged down. I want to say there's two stories that I know, and that is it might be earlier in the war. I don't remember. I don't remember the Nivelle or another period in the war, but the one that stands out to me is a great understanding of how little everyone understood, how poor people's understanding of what being in constant contact with the enemy in this sort of like mutual throat grabbing stranglehold would do to the mind, to people's mind. And that is, there's two. One is Luis Cadorna, Italian general, who said shootings will continue until morale improves. The other is much more personal, and I like it better. That is a French general by the name of Dimardet. Put this off to the side real quickly here. A French general by the name of Dimardet. And Dimardet is talking with another officer about, I forget what it is, it's not important. But as this officer is talking with Dimardet, it's by the perspective of the other officer. As Dimardet is talking with this other officer, a group of soldiers passes by. And from looking at them, both this other officer and Dimardet know they are looking at the firing. Soldier in the middle of them is taken off to be being executed. Cowardice. For abandoning his post. And happens as the soldier is being dragged along, Dimardet stops the firing squad. And he talks to the condemned man. Tells him after he asks about like why he's being executed. Like is being executed post find Hey Tequila, ¿cómo está, güey? ¿Cómo está, güey? We're talking about a war. We're talking about World War One. What was I saying about this soldier, this condemned soldier who's in a firing squad? Oh yes. And so Dimardet talks to him and says, his crime was not venal. It was not but that what he was, he let down. It was about how let down the men next to you, let down France. You let down the French army. You let down your buddies. You let down friends. And he said that he even acknowledged man had this damn soldier had no control over his actions, but that there would be other soldiers like who lacked skill stay at their post. That's an example with that his sacrifice, his execution, was a sacrifice for the sake of. And this according to the writer of the, I want to say it's from an officer's diary. I want to say it's from an officer's diary, but I don't know which officer's diary. I'm saying it's officer's diary. According to the writer of this diary, I don't know how to fuck to play Terraria Tequila. I don't know how the fuck. You're asking the wrong person if you want to know how to play Terraria. What was his name? Oh yes. According to the writer of, it had an almost cleansing effect on the. He felt absolved of guilt, and he went off to his and so then Friday finished talking to the soldier. The procession went along. The firing squad continued on their post to perform their duty, perform their execution. But the victim went willing. Now the victim, rather than being dragged along, went willing. For a few moments, writing this diary mentioned that a shot, hear the shots of the firing squad, and General Diomede is rattled by it because he knows that for everything he told that soldier, it wasn't entirely true. It was not exactly but it was a story. It came up with whatever his actual thoughts, how the war was going, could not let true thought show to anyone. He could not let his true thoughts show to any of the officers with, worse, any of the soldiers, because that would result worse outcome. Anything that had happened up to that would potentially result in the breakdown overall military. Something like or one worse. That's how. Or one worse, turning the state. Whenever you have a disorganized retreat like that, it's probably because I'm not I'm not positioned right in front of the mic, Merlin. So let me just adjust myself to fix that. Let me adjust the mic. Let me adjust myself. That might fix it. But what was I saying? Oh yes. Anytime you have that sort of disorganized route, that will more people than even the worst. That will result in more deaths than even the worst stalemates of Verdun or the Somme, because people are running away in panic, trample their comrades, they become swamped, and they become every single happened in history. When a battle or a war leads to one side routing, that's when the casualties happen. That's when you get things like Highway of Death, 1990. That's how you get things like the Iraqi Highway of Death in 1990, when the convoys scattered, panicking, and was like target practice. It was like target practice for aircraft flying overhead. They could just come down at their leisure, drop their payloads, and destroy entire groups of panic soldiers without any resistance. And this is what Diomede knew. This is what he thought about the state of the war and how France was handling the war. He had to stop that. The only way he knew how to stop that from happening. I'm not saying it's the only way to stop it from happening, but the only way he knew how to stop that from happening was in discipline. Even if that meant crafting stories that he might not have totally believed in to tell his men. Putting on an sake venting route. France. Consider and remember, France was destroyed by the war. France was ultimately not destroyed, not defeated, but France was ultimately, you could argue, almost destroyed by the war. The damage that it did to France with us still to this day. There are whole areas in France and Belgium that are cordoned off. You can't go. You're not allowed to go there because there are undetonated artillery shells buried deep in the earth that could go off and cause a catastrophe. But I want you to think about how much worse that could be. I want you to consider that could have been so much worse if the French army had ever routed. That could have been far worse than it already was. And we can see some of this by looking at what happened to France in the next war. Because there wasn't that grinding phase that you had in the first world in the 1914 Western Front. you can see how relative to the rest of the Battle of France, the Battle and Fall of France, you can see how most of the worst parts of the worst damage France sustained, both to its military and to its civilian population, was during the retreat of the French army before their surrender. Ow. Wow, we have done nothing in the actual game itself. We've stopped so many times to go on tangents that we haven't done a damn thing. We've done one mission. We've done one whole mission. Oh my god, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. We've only done one mission this whole time. We've been here for almost 2 hours, and because I keep going on these tangents, we've only ever done one mission. What are we looking for? What are we looking for? There we go. There's a base. What's our targets look like? Okay, we need to go for those red targets. Those are the priorities. Ow, ow, ow. I think I bumped into the ground there. I think I scraped against the ground. We'll bring ourselves around here this way. Get into the canyon. Wow, visibility here really is terrible. Also, wow, this isn't Mind Flow. This is the other track that's like the quiet version of Mind Flow. Yep. Good night, Merlin. Good night, Merlin. It was nice having you here. Nice having you here, because especially, here's the thing. I complain about the tangents, but the tangents are great, because the tangents mean that I have something to talk about. I have something that I can go on about, that I can actually discuss. That I'm not just stuck scrambling for things to talk about. That you give me a sounding board, something I can use to get onto a topic and go from there. So yeah, no, that's actually really great. That was fantastic. Thank you for that. That was amazing. Get ourselves lined up with our next target. Not you, you. Also, we can do this. Watch. Bombs away. Next target identified. Base. We don't have to get in super low or anything. Just toss the bomb and let it do the rest of the work. As long as we've got good alignment, it'll hit its target just fine. Get ourselves lined up with the next one. Bup, bup, bup. Bup, 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 bup. Bup, bup, bup. Let's see if we got the kill. Let's see if we... Nope, miss. There is some limit. There are still some limitations to that, though, at the end of the day. Even if we can get a good shot lined up, there are still some limitations. Bup, bup. Oh, now this is Mind Flow. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Do, 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 do. This, like I said, this is one of the two best, my opinion anyways, the two best tracks in Ace Combat 3. It's this one, and the other one is Montage. And I don't think we're actually gonna run into Montage, so I'm gonna give y'all a listen to what Montage sounds like, so you can understand why I love this track so much. Because it is utterly fantastic. It's gorgeous, and it is a great demonstration of how, you know, of the music of the mid to late 90s. Listen to this. Da, do, da, na, na, da. And then here comes the drum lines. Here comes this beautiful syncopated drum line. It's almost got this sort of late 70s, not late 70s, mid 80s. It's almost like it's not exactly mid 80s sound, but it's like it's taking elements from early to mid 80s piano house, which had some absolutely fantastic tracks in it. I'll actually find an example of that for you so you can listen to that as well, just for comparison's sake. Now we're on to music. I don't understand music theory very well. My understanding of music is very intuitive. My understanding of music is very intuitive, and as a result, I'm not going to be able to like tell you everything. I know people that know more about this than I do. People that actually understand the theory behind this. And a lot of what I've gone off of is based off of listening to them and talking to them. Let me just give you a great example of what I'm talking about here with like old piano house. Actually, no. What is a great example of this? Actually, this might be a great example. Let's see if this is what I'm thinking of. I might be on the complete. Yeah, that right there. That right there. Now let's go back and compare that to Montage. Montage feels like they've taken that sound and almost applied it to a breakbeat or drum and bass type sound. Breakbeat house or drum and bass type sound. Listen to that. Now compare that to Don't Want to Go by Sterling Void again. That's what we're just listening to right now. Listen to that piano bit. Listen to that piano track. It feels like you can see the evolution. You can see the evolution. Even if I don't have the words for it, just listen to this again. And the big change between this and Montage is that drum. This is classic mid to late 80s house music. Might even be late 70s. I don't know. But it's that era. 70s to 80s house music. And you can hear it's got that very steady dun 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 dun. That very steady, like 4/4/4. It's called a 4 on the floor beat, where it's that steady do 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 do. Now compare that to the drums, the drum track in Montage, which is very syncopated and much jumpier. I guess you might say it's much less steady. Do da do do da. The difference between these two, but the evolution is there. The evolution of that sort of that's that same sort of like piano pattern with the piano. It's almost like they've taken the piano riff from Sterling Void. It's not exactly this, but a piano riff like Don't Want to Go. They've taken that piano riff and they've basically they basically stripped it down to its fundamental notes. Dun 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 dun. Like, these two tracks are not a direct comparison, but they give you an idea of the evolution. They give you an idea of the evolution in style and how Montage Montage owes a lot of its sound to music of this era. And if you'll give me one moment, I have to shut something up. Sorry about that. Like I said, it's a reminder I have to shut up that comes up around this time. But anyways, and so you can see that evolution. Another great example of another direction that evolution was going is, this is another track that if you're familiar with a lot of classic electronic music, well, you'll immediately recognize this as well. And that is Derek May's Strings of Life. Derek May wasn't the only person that worked on this, but he is the name that is most associated with it. Derek May, and who's the other person that worked on this? There's another person that worked on this track that's also pretty prominent. I think the name of it actually. I was looking at this the other day because there's some controversy associated with this track, and what was it? Michael James. So Derek May and Michael James worked on this track. Derek May was under the name of Mayday at the time. And I want you to listen to the piano bit. Listen again. Listen to that again. Now let's see if we can't break that down into its fundamental notes. I'm not going to do this exactly right because like I said before, I kind of lack some of the theory, the actual like the formal theory and knowledge. There are people that know these things better than I do that will take one look at my explanation, what I'm about to do, call me an idiot, do it, and you know what? I'm going to fucking listen to them because they know what they're talking about. I've talked with these people. I know they know what they're talking about. And we have a lot of fun back and forth between them. One of them, by the way, I don't know if any of y'all know her, but actually, no, Merlin. I think Merlin did. Merlin's got that. But if you know Ariana Foxton, she is fantastic for this. Another person that I mentioned before as well is Professor Bloom. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to give them both shout outs because they are both fantastic people. If you want to know things about music theory, want to know things about music theory? These are two of the best people you can talk to. They're absolutely two of the best people you can talk to. Let me make sure I got the name right. Not VT. Bloom and Ariana. Like I said, let me see. Ariana Foxton. That's how you do. Okay. If you want to know somebody who knows a lot, who is very good in their understanding of music theory, it is Ariana Foxton and Professor Bloom. Both of them. They come from different angles of it, arguably. Bloom is much more, I think, the practical side of vocals and actually, performing and of performing music. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, is performing music. Whereas Ariana is a much more theoretical perspective, somebody who's much more involved in the music production side. Let me see if I can actually do the shout out this time, or if Twitch is going to give me a fucking... Yes. Fine. Okay, Twitch, fine. Only one shout out can be active at a time. Yes. Let me just link Ariana Foxton for you, for those of y'all who might want to be interested in looking into her. This is the person I'm talking about. This is the other person I'm talking about. So there's Professor Bloom and there's Ariana Foxton, and they are both fantastic when it comes to, you want to get a better understanding of music. You want to get a better understanding of how it works. You want to get an understanding of music theory. So if you want to be a better singer, want to get better at being a performer, these two people can cover you. You want to learn a lot. I mean, that's the thing. They cover, like I said, two different sides of this. Bloom, like I said, is very much on the performance side. He's very knowledgeable in music theory. I'm not saying he doesn't know music theory, but his focus is more on the practical application of it. Where on the practical application of it as a performer, whereas Ariana has a much, put it another way, has a much nerdier understanding of music theory. She's much more into the weeds of like the actual mechanics of music theory, and she is a joy to listen to whenever she's talking about music theory. It is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. What are we doing? We are doing a thing. Oh yeah, we just finished this mission. That's what we're doing. And we're talking about this because I went off on a tangent again. I went off on a tangent about, yes, it was successfully destroyed. Thank you. Okay. If I had gotten a D ranking on that, I could probably would have been insulted there, but oh well. What do you got to say, Keith? That was sure a nasty one this time. Yeah, I mean, there's like, Sams are fucking everywhere, goddamn. Come on, Keith. I'm not the only one out there, damn it. I'm just the player. I'm just the player, damn it. Yes, I do want to save because we're going down this route. I don't know if we're gonna finish this route tonight, but we're gonna get as far down as like possibly can. Claustrophobia, save, and let's see, where does that puts us on to, I think we're actually gonna get a route split here. Means we're gonna need to do a bit of an adjustment to our save. Yes. CEO of General Resource passed away. He was 75 years old. Nascimento had received heart transplants over the last few years. Recently, he had, by his own wish, what? An artificial heart. Oh! Okay. In 1999, that is an incredibly forward-looking thing to talk about. Connected to the network? Oh god, then there's also that. That's the other thing that's also kind of forward-looking, is the danger of too much network integration. The danger of too much network integration. The lack of, what is this? Streaming data? Huh. Who is this from? Who are you? Oh, it's DISION! It's DISION! I'm coming to kill you. Thoroughly personal one. You can go fuck yourself, DISION. I'm gonna kill you one way or the other. Just deal with it, asshole. Watching this. Don't take pride in the fact that you what? I tempted you from Yupio. Achievements have been shocking. Yes, yes, yes. Get to the point. Get to the point, DISION. You want me to, let me guess, you want me to join you and do whatever the hell you're trying to do. I don't even know what you want. I know what you're doing. I know why you're doing this. You want me to help you with your revenge plot against your dead girlfriend. Ugh. Now, days from now, I and my supporters will begin our uprising. Form this world through. Oh my God, you're worse than Johnny Silverhand. Like talking big ideals, big, you know, a big thing about how going to overthrow the current world order because it's corrupt or whatever, or it's keeping us from taking the next step into the future of humanity. I don't fucking know. But what I do know is that it's bullshit. I know that this is all because what happened to your girlfriend in... I don't even know why it happened, by the way. That's the thing. I forget exactly why it happened. But rules of the old age, politics, justice were erased by battle. Well, humanity, no matter the era, can't learn of any way of living other than as what? Foolish creatures living only for desires. Humans, when ideals born from hopes, dreams come true, desires are born. Oh boy, here we go. Yes, yes, yes. We are aware, DISION, we are aware, we are looking at you right now. You are a free consciousness drifting in the electrosphere, separate from the desires of your body. Blah, 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 blah. You're no better than the many who are creating their symphony of life. Ugh. Ugh. You and them both, God. It was like last time it was them, now it's you. A form that, yeah, like I said, you are free, just a reproduction constructed out of what? Recorded data of my past self. Yeah, like I said, you're a free consciousness. Sublimation. Sublimation, by the way, you can tell when they actually wrote this whole bit about sublimation, they were really thinking about Ghost in the Shell. Because it's very similar to the idea of the ghost. Again, like the term, the ghost, as a concept in Ghost in the Shell. You know, the core of consciousness. The core bit of what makes a person conscious. What makes you, you. That's what he's talking about here. Ugh. I built up the self-confidence about I, with my revolution, can bring about the new world that no one else could. Shut up, DISION. Shut up, DISION. Nobody cares. Like I said, at the end of the day, this isn't about a new world or a revolution or the era that is to come. Stop bullshitting us. This is about your dead girlfriend. You're trying to get revenge for her. You're just as, like I said, you're just as bad as Johnny Silverhand. You're just as bad as Johnny Silverhand.
End of file. Connection
Ooh.
Connection cannot be restored.
Okay, cool. We're gonna kill him anyways. Now, what about him, Keith? What about Nashimendo? I'm not saying it's a bit sus, a bit sussy. God, I hate that. I hate that I did that. Somebody come and kill me now. Kill me now for making that joke. God damn. Well, I think what? Oh yeah, the sudden escalation. Oh yeah, no, there's definitely a play here. Even aside from whatever whatever DISION is doing. Yeah, Ouroboros, by the way. I know. It's a thing. We've already been around. We've already been on the Newcom route, and we've already seen the discussion of, like, you know, what Ouroboros is. It's a terrorist organization that wants to bring about a new world by sublimating all of humanity and freeing them from the desires of their bodies. Blah blah blah. Like I said, you're no better than the many, or literally no better than the many, DISION. The only difference being, of course, the terminology. A cult is a cult is a cult. You cannot convince me otherwise. I would say I'm sorry, but that would imply that I care about how you feel. Anyways, mission. What do we got here? Submarines. Believed to be new comms near the Petrol Coast. And let me guess, you want me to blow up the submarine pens, don't you? We assume they have resupply docks near the. Yup, you want me to blow up the submarine pens? Exactly what I thought it was. Yep, it's time to go. Must be cleverly hidden, most likely in the fjord-filled terrain. The mission is to find these docks and destroy them. Okay, I can do that, no problem. Get going. What do I want here for this? If we're going to be dealing with hardened ground targets, we're probably going to want to use the urn again, because again, it has the spread bomb. The spread bomb is amazing. Actually, do I want the spread bomb or the ground missile for this? Because I remember these are kind of weird targets. I'm trying to remember which one actually works better here. It might still be the spread bomb, but I kind of have a feeling that we have to hit something that's underneath a roof, and the ground missile is good for that. Even if I'm wrong, oh yeah, this is the exact mission I thought it was. This is where the route split. Oh hey, it's DISION! I hope you've considered your answer. Yeah, the answer is go fuck yourself. The answer is go to hell, DISION. That is my answer. Go away. Yes, 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 yes. Bring ourselves up, bring ourselves up, bring ourselves up, bring ourselves up. Engine cut. Get ourselves into the cut our turn radius. Missiles out, missiles out. Kill confirmed, kill confirmed. Where's the next one? Where's the next one? Bring ourselves around, bring ourselves around. Where's his friends at? Where's his friends at? We've got at least one priority target coming on. Ooh, hit, hit, hit. Second one didn't connect though. Come back around, finish the target off. Go up, go vertical, go vertical, go vertical. We need the energy advantage. And down along this way. Let's see let's see if we can't get a good shot on him. Missile out. And dead. Bingo. Come on now, let's go see what's waiting for us down in the valley. Shall we? Oh, I got disoriented there. Got a little disoriented there. Bring ourselves around, bring ourselves around. And let's see what we got here. That is Dijon. I don't care. I told him my answer already, and my answer is go fuck yourself. I don't care about your revenge plot for your dead girlfriend. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't know. No. I'm sorry, but no. No. Okay, what are we looking at here? We've got ourselves a ravine. Looks like there's more. There's heavy helicopters in it. Coming in low. Let's see if we can't get in through under them. Maybe pop one or two of them. One. And shit, miss. Whatever. Not worth going back around to re-engage. Target ID'd. Submarine. Missiles away, missiles away. Did neither of those connect? Did neither of those connect? Neither of those connected. Okay, coming back around. We're gonna try that again. Second pass, second pass. I don't think I had a lock. That's what got me there. I think I was coming in and I fired them off, but they were dumb. They were flying dumb, and that's not useful. It's like they need to have a lock in order to be effective. Okay, lock confirmed. Up, pull up, 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 up. They're still not doing anything. I might have been wrong here. We're about to find out, that's for sure. Yeah, ground missiles don't work here. Okay, leave mission. We need the spread bombs. I was right about the ground missiles. I was actually wrong about the ground missiles here because these don't work. We need the spread bombs. Let's do that again. Skip the briefing. We've already listened to that. We don't need to bother with it. And then we go FA-32C urn, spread bomb. Don't want the ground missiles here because they'll get confused by the roof of the sub pens. That's what it was. Okay. Got ourselves actually set up correctly. Yeah, no, go fuck yourself, Dijon. You know my answer. The answer is no. For now, anyways. We'll talk later. Because, I mean, that's the thing. We are going to do all 5 routes. We've already done one. This is the second route. Target misses away. Target down. Splash 1. Second one. Good tone, good tone. Splash 2. Next target looks like these are going to be helicopters. Keep that in mind. Bring ourselves in for approach. We have to get into the ravine so we can get to that sub pen. God, I love how like I love how the canyon missions have just evolved over the history of the Ace Combat series. Like this ravine is super wide. This has got nothing on the ravine from Ace Combat 7 or the one from 0. Like those were so narrow. They were terrifying. Bombs away, bombs away. Target down. Good. Bring our speed back down to cut our turn radius. Come in, kill this helicopter. Find our next target. Okay. Next target is this way. We're gonna need to adjust our approach direction though, because we need to come in along the ravine so that we can get a clear shot at the submarine in the pen. Otherwise, we're just gonna hit the pen's roof. What happened with the ground missiles? It's gonna happen again if we don't make our shot count. Okay, juke that missile. Come back around. We need to head for the ravine exit, which is where we will find our next. We'll make our next approach. Hello, what do we got here? Missile alert. Juke. We're gonna have to deal with that R211 that's chasing us. Because as long as they're here, they're gonna throw our shots off because we have to juke their missiles. Missiles away. Where's your buddy at? Ah, shit. No hits. Missile shot trashed. Bring us around. Get in there. Going for guns. Can we get him? No, we can't. Okay. Extend. Loop down. Let's see what we can do with this motherfucker. Come on. Got ourselves good spacing. Oh, looks like his friend is coming for us. Missiles away. Pull off the attack. Good. Splash one. Now for his friend. Ooh. Ah, yeah. God damn it. Hey there, Vic. How are you doing? What's going on? How you doing tonight? Get ourselves in position to get rid of this guy. Let's see here. This is not going to be a good position. Okay, extend our turn. Come back around and get ourselves into position. Bing chilling. I love how that became a thing because I love how Bing chilling became a thing because based from the Chinese word, the Mandarin word for ice cream, I think is where it comes from. There we go. You see, this is why instead of trying to turn with your target, if you have the room, extend your maneuver, and that will let you realign and come onto another attack vector. It's a much better approach that will save you a lot of grief and means that you're more likely to actually get the fucker than if you try and turn with him. This is especially true if you're dealing with something like drones. The drones will always be able to pull more alpha than you can. Same goes for G and more G's, mind you. So you cannot fight them on their terms. They have to make them fight you on your terms. That's why we extend our maneuvers, we go vertical, and we use our thrust advantage, our thrust to weight advantage, and our speed advantage to keep control of the fight. There's another helicopter. Bye. Oh, you're kidding me. That missed. Fuck it. Bombs away. Target's down. Where's the next one? Looks like there's 2 more left. Okay, pull ourselves up and away. See if we've got a tail. Yep, we got one chasing us. ID. There he is. Hello, Mr. R211. No. The answer is no. No, you don't. Come on. We have the energy advantage. We should be able to get this. Okay, pull up. Extend. DISION's going in for an attack. We'll be able to follow up afterwards. 1, 2. Space our shots out. That way they have a better chance of at least one hitting. Good. Pull up. Go vertical. He's going to keep coming after us, it looks like. Nope, never mind. All right, bring the nose back down along. And let's go. Let's go kill this motherfucker. Kill him. Put the nose on and kill him. Good. It's one down. What's this at? Another R211. Okay. Get ourselves into position. All right. Looks like we went for a first front on attack. All right. Pull ourselves up. Go vertical. Go vertical. Go vertical. Use the altitude advantage to keep. Use the altitude advantage, and let's go for the attack. We have got spacing. We should be able to pull this one. 3 shots out. 1 hit. Ugh. God, we have had the worst luck with that recently. The worst shots recently. Only gonna need 1 more to take him down, though, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. It's just annoying. Extend, 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 extend. He's on our tail. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Go vertical. Okay, he's breaking off his attack. He's breaking off his attack. Get him, 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 get him. And we got him, we got him, we got him, we got him. Bye. Told you. See, that's the thing. You need to understand the you need to understand your engagement. You need to understand what your advantages are. You need to know where you're better than him, where he's better than you, and based off of that, that's how you control the fight so that he has to fight on your terms. He has to deal with your strengths and not the other way around. Come on, come on, come on. Bombs away, bombs away. Just gun batteries, not that big of a... Oh, shit. I must have, pancaked into the water trying to get my shot, trying to get my alignment. Ugh. Had that happen before. It kind of sucks, but hey, it just means we gotta do it over again. It's probably gonna be our last one after we tell DISION to go fuck himself. So, bring ourselves back in for the approach. Yes, the answer is no. I've said this already, DISION. The answer is no. And let's see what we got here. Coming in on our first target. Let's see if we can't get this right. If we can't get this one right. But also, Vic, before this, you missed some actually rather interesting discussions. Because I mentioned, so I don't know if you've seen it around, but Merlin Bishop, somebody else who's been around, someone else who was here earlier, brought up a really interesting tabletop RPG that I've been wanting to play for a long time called Aces High. Oh, it's Aces High. He sent me the stuff. I have to check the name on it. I might remember the name wrong. But it's really interesting because on one end, you can do it as like a very grim First World War, you know, blood and mud and suffering, and you're probably going to be dead within 20 minutes. On the other hand, it also works as Porco Rosso. You can also play it as Porco Rosso. And the fact that it's adaptable enough to serve both roles is amazing. Is absolutely amazing. And a game that can do that, a game that can be both, is always a treat. Something that can be really serious on one hand, but also has the adaptability to be, you know, something much more lighthearted. As much more, basically, scalability is one of my favorite traits, not just in tabletop RPGs, but in games in general. The ability to adjust the scale and tone of what you're doing, of what's going on here, based on what you're looking for. Based on what you're looking for. And this is particularly true in any case, like I said, with particularly tabletop RPGs, where narratives are driven by the players. And yes, the GM is a player. The GM is a player. They are the storyteller. They are they're the storyteller and referee. They are not necessarily aligned with what people typically think of as the players, but they are, if you get down to it, the GM is a player. And that means that they are also involved in driving that story. So tabletop RPGs are particularly great when they have that kind of adaptability that lets, you know, you don't have to force it to change its tone, you know, to be something else. I don't know, there's a lot of games where its tone is what it is for a very specific reason. I'm just gonna walk back what I said, because this doesn't mean that a game that has a specific tone is bad. I just really like games, and I think it's good. I think it's great design when a game is able to be played with a completely different tone than the original, maybe not a completely different tone from the original intent, but is able to, with two groups of players can take the same game, the same rules. Let's just put it that way. Can take the same rules and change the tone and the nature of their story, and it works. And this is the big thing about things like Dungeons and Dragons. You'll hear me bitch endlessly about how people try and force D&D to be other games that it's not, and that's the big thing. It's the fact that they have to force it. They have to homebrew all kinds of stuff that other RPGs already have built in. The perfect example of this is when I saw a while back, let's play Cyberpunk Edge Runners in D&D. It's like, wow, it's almost like there's a Cyberpunk tabletop system already. In fact, there's two of them by that author. There's 20, not even two. How many variations of it? There's Cyberpunk 2013, Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk 3.0, which is not very good, and then there's Cyberpunk Red. And those, there are multiple cyberpunk systems that are out there that are not D&D. Like, maybe could we maybe try one of those? Please? Please? I'm begging you? Can we please play something that's not D&D? D&D's fine, arguably. Here's the thing, I'm not like some people say, oh, D&D is the worst RPG ever. But what I will say about D&D is that D&D is very narrow in what it can do. D&D is very narrow in what it can do. And what it does is dumb dungeon crawler. Big dumb dungeon crawler. And sometimes, like I say, that's what you want. I call it the hot dog. I use the hot dog metaphor here. Oh my god, we crashed again. Yeah, I have a save state, so we don't have to go through the menus. Don't worry about it. I call it the hot dog metaphor, where I say that D&D as an RPG system is like a hot dog. Sometimes you want a hot dog, but a hot dog cannot be, as much as you might try and force a hot dog to be tomato soup. A hot dog is not tomato soup. You can try and force it to be tomato soup, but it's a hot dog. It's not tomato soup. They're two fundamentally different things. And that's why sometimes, you want a hot dog, sometimes you want tomato soup. Use the appropriate tools to get the outcome you want. Don't force an inappropriate tool don't force a tool into a role it's not appropriate for. This is also true in real life. Aside from like tabletop RPGs, it's also true in real life. Because if you do this in real life, that's how you get workplace accidents that are absolutely devastating. That's how you get put into a U.S. Chemical Safety Bureau video. That's what happens. You get put into a Chemical Safety Bureau video, and now everybody knows you as the guy who used the blow dryer to heat up flammable surface sealant that caused two towers to burn down, killing everybody inside of the second one. That's how that happens. That negligence, or worse, that arrogance is what leads to those incidents happening. This is why you always try to use the right tool for whatever you're doing, because it can cause, sometimes it just makes the job harder. Sometimes that's all it does. Sometimes using the wrong tool just makes the job harder. But sometimes using the wrong tool can get you hurt. And you need to keep that possibility in mind. Oh wow, wait. I just realized Missiles in Ace Combat 3 actually have a guidance dead zone. That's interesting. Basically, I just noticed that when I was actually taking that shot on this R211. And this is why my shots where I extend have been better. I didn't realize that the missiles in this game actually do that. Basically, what I mean by a guidance dead zone is that whenever the missile is fired, whenever you fire the missile, instead of immediately tracking the target and going for the intercept, it'll fly straight forward for just a couple of seconds And then, after those couple of seconds have passed, then it starts to maneuver. Watch. Missile is dumb, missile goes. That was a bad shot, but it was just for demonstration purposes. Okay. Too close, going for guns. Going for guns. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get in there, boy. Get in there. We got this, 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 we got this. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Watch our altitude. Yes, yes, yes. His buddy is probably right behind me. I'm aware. Shit, no good, no good, no good. Got him. Ah, not enough, not enough, not enough. Second pass, second pass, second pass. Also, just don't bother about trying to line up the sight with the target before you fire. Just what you want to do there is like just while you're trying to get the target to just squeeze while you drag the reticle across the target. That's what you're going to want to do here, because that is how you get at least some of your burst on target. You don't have to get everything on them, but getting some of your burst on target is better than missing the whole thing or never firing because you're trying to line up that perfect shot. You're right there, like just drag the gun, drag the tracers, or drag the pipper along the target until some of it connects. That's what you got to try and do here, because otherwise you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss every single time. You're either not gonna take the shot, or your shot's just gonna completely miss, and neither of those is good. Ah, shit. No good, no good, no good, no good. Bring ourselves back around. Misses away, misses away. Got him. Okay, where's the next one? Where's the next one? R201. Hello. These are... That was an R211. This is a 201. I wonder, it's like, wait, are these all... Yeah, no, they're not. They're not all the same aircraft. Okay, good, good. That takes care of the 201. I think the 211s have better AI. And that means... more aggressive AI, I should say, not better. I think the 211s actually have more aggressive AI, which leads them to be better at evading your shot, better at evading missiles. I noticed that just this whole time. But they seem to be better at juking my missiles compared to the 201s. I wonder if that's just me or if it actually is like happening. Anyways, here is our next target location. What are we looking for? We are looking for... There it is. Got him. Bring ourselves in. We don't want to go super low because that's how the guns will get us. Oh, wait, no, this is a sub pen. We have to go in low because we have to get the bomb to go under the pen's roof. So bring ourselves back around. Make sure that 211 doesn't chase us. And down. Turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. Down into the ravine. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Where's this? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Got it. Target ID'd. Bombs away. Bombs away. There we go. Takes care of that one. Where's this? Now, where's the last targets at? Oh, hi. You really don't like me, do you? You really don't like me, do you, Mr. R211? Well, this is the part where I say goodbye. And now for Cruel Saul. God damn it. You're supposed to be all like, trying to be all cool and shit. And they both miss. Like, and now for Cruel Son. I will be the one to decide. God. That is such, like, I don't know why that scene is always the one that comes to mind. From the one from Seven Deadly Sins. I do know why. I do know why. It's an old shitpost that I made a long time ago, where I took the audio from that and put it with the bomb scene from Barefoot Gen. That is like the worst thing. It's the worst. But it's also perfect. It's literally perfect. There's a reason why I made that pairing. Because it works. Sure, it's dark as hell, but it works. Because think of it, at the end of the day, what is that aside from a can of sunshine? Got one hit, Okay, pull ourselves away, Let's try that again then. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Missile away. Is this one gonna connect? Yes, and it's good. Let's see then. What's our threat picture look like? Though, don't think there's anyone immediately around us. There's some 701s over there, but those aren't really a threat. And it looks like this is going to be another sub pen. Oh wait, no, is it? Is this going to be a sub pen or is this going to be boats? I think this one is boats, and if it's boats, we can use a different attack vector. So let's pull up on them and see what we got here. Okay, I pull up, hop out at the after party. You and all your friends, yeah, they love to get naughty. Sipping on the hen, I know you love that Bacardi. 1942, I take you back in the oh, yeah, these are boats. Okay. So first target, I did pickle. And 2. There we go. Takes care of both of them. Now it's just that sub pen. Ourselves up and over. That lets us get into position for the attack on the ravine. Actually, I say it lets us get into position. It doesn't really do anything for us. It doesn't really do anything for us. It's just a relaxed maneuver that keeps us from pulling too much alpha and bleeding off all our speed. It's still useful, mind you, but it's not like the essential for this specific attack that I'm making it sound like. So bring ourselves up, over. Now this is the ravine attack maneuver. This is the maneuver that's going to let us attack the ravine. Bring ourselves inverted. Good. Mobile fleet launching from the docks, including submarines. Okay. Yeah, we got this. We got this, bro. Don't worry. Update target. Okay, what do we got? Looks like it's just that last enemy grouping, and that's not going to be that big of a deal, so... Okay, gun. Pickle. There we go. That takes care of all of them. Ooh, told you I had this. Told you I had this, didn't I? Did I not tell you that I had this? Ooh. And now DISION is going to try and get us to join him. And the answer, like I said before, is no. The answer is no, DISION. No. No, I don't believe in you. You're an asshole. Like I said before, this isn't about ideals or a new world. This is about your dead girlfriend. You just don't want to admit it to anyone. Yes. Shut up, DISION. I'm dissolving. Yeah, whatever. Die. Go die, DISION. Actually, no, don't, because we're gonna come and kill you. So yeah, no, don't go off and die on your own. We'll be there to kill you. I am not joining DISION. Fuck off. Yep. Let's go, Keith. Let's go. Land at the carrier. Okay. Yep. Oh, I forgot about just some of the visual stuff in this game as well. This is like here, like these little HUD elements like this. So kind of partly here to sell that. Like I said, this is the future. This is the future. It's 2040. God, the fact that 2040 is not all that. The fact that we are closer. Actually, are we? Let me think here. 2022 to 2040, as opposed to, we are closer to 2040 than we are to 1999, and that is a strange feeling. That is a strange feeling, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. God, I forget how weird landing is in this game. You have to be higher than you think you do because of the cockpit, the perspective difference. Ugh, I don't like it. I don't hate it, but I also kind of don't like it. It's like I said, you have to be higher than you think you do. And that makes it really awkward. Get ourselves into alignment. Start braking. There we go. See what I mean? Like, we're so much higher than we think. We have to be higher than you think you do, because you almost want to like bring the nose down onto the deck. But no, it's like you've got to hold it over the deck, and it just feels so awkward. Yes, we did destroy Newcom's resupply docks. And yeah, no, we told DISION to go fuck himself. Damn. Why'd my hunch have to be dead on? Believe me, I could have told you, Keith. I could have told you. I could have told you from the get-go that DISION was behind all of this. Guy's an asshole after all. Remember I said this before. Let's see. Who do we want? Yeah, no, he's getting that stuff about dissolving our team. You think he might do that, buddy? Damn it! Damn it! Yes, yes. This is kind of not. This is an unpleasant experience for you. I get that. I get that. Actually, no. I know exactly who we're gonna go say hello to, in large small part because I bet they would fucking. I bet at least one of them would fucking love this game, and I want to see if bringing it to their attention. I want to see if bringing it to their attention leads to them trying it, because that would just be perfect. Because I'm telling you, at least one of them would love this. I guarantee it. I utterly guarantee that at least one of them would love this game. So let's see. Where are you? Ah, yes. So I usually don't raid people that are like this big, but hey, why not? Because like I said, I don't usually raid big people because I feel like I kind of get lost there. But let's go say hi to Sigrid and Bird, shall we? Because I said before, at least one of them, I bet at least one of them would love this game. I bet at least one of them would love Ace Combat 3. Let me make sure they're not winding down in case I have to cancel the raid, because I've done that before. And that was awkward. That was just awkward. Let's see. Are they still going? That's the important thing I want to check here real quickly. What are they up to? Yeah, Papa John's, go away. I don't care about your pizza. Your pizza's not even that good compared to other stuff I can get. Yep, they're still going. They're still going. Okay, so let's go say hello to Sigrid and Bird. And as for the raid message is no means no, Dijon. No means no. Do you understand? And with that, I say to you, good night.